The Ganges River flows like a silver thread through the heart of India, its waters shimmering under the sun as pilgrims gather along its banks, offering prayers and immersing themselves in its sacred currents. For thousands of years, this river has been more than just a source of water. It has been a lifeline to the divine, a symbol of purity, and a gateway to spiritual renewal. But the Ganges is just one thread in a vast, ancient tapestry of reverence for water. From the Nile in Egypt to the lakes of the Andes, rivers and lakes have been worshipped, feared, and celebrated across cultures and civilizations. Why did ancient societies see these water bodies as more than just physical resources? What made them sacred, even mythical, in the eyes of our ancestors? Today, we're diving into the mysteries of sacred rivers and mythical lakes, exploring how water became a cornerstone of ancient beliefs and rituals. Together, we'll uncover the stories, symbols, and spiritual practices that reveal the profound connection between humanity and water, a connection that still echoes in our modern world. So, let's step into the current of history and discover why these waters have flowed through the heart of human spirituality for millennia. The Nile River winds through the desert like a ribbon of life, its waters carving a path through the sands and nurturing one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. To the ancient Egyptians, the Nile was far more than a river. It was a god, a giver of life, and a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Without its predictable floods, Egypt's fertile black soil would never have yielded the crops that fed its people, built its cities, and sustained its empire. But the Nile's significance went beyond agriculture. It was worshipped as Hapi, the god of the Nile, whose annual inundation was seen as a miraculous act of divine generosity. Imagine the awe of ancient Egyptians as they watched the river swell each year, bringing not just water but hope, renewal, and the promise of another prosperous season. This connection to the divine was celebrated in grand rituals and festivals. One of the most important was the Wafa El Nil, a vibrant celebration of gratitude for the river's life-giving floods. People would gather along the banks, offering flowers, music, and prayers to honor Hapi and ensure his continued blessings. The Nile also played a central role in Egyptian mythology, intertwined with stories of creation, the afterlife, and the journey of the sun god Ra. It was believed that Ra sailed across the sky in his solar boat by day and navigated the underworld by night, mirroring the river's eternal flow. Even in death, the Nile remained essential, as souls were thought to travel its waters on their journey to the afterlife, guided by the gods. But the reverence for rivers as divine beings wasn't unique to Egypt. Across the world, ancient cultures saw their waterways as more than just sources of water. They were sacred forces alive with power and meaning. From the Ganges in India to the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, rivers were worshipped, feared, and celebrated as embodiments of the divine. This universal connection between humanity and water reveals something profound about our ancestors, their deep understanding of nature's rhythms and their ability to find the sacred in the everyday. And as we'll see, this connection wasn't limited to rivers alone. Lakes, too, held a special place in the hearts and minds of ancient peoples, often shrouded in myth and mystery. The Ganges River holds a place of unparalleled reverence in Hinduism, not just as a body of water, but as a divine force that descends from the heavens themselves. According to ancient Hindu texts, the Ganges is more than a river. It is the goddess Ganga, a celestial being who agreed to flow to earth to purify humanity's sins. This sacred journey began with a story of devotion and determination. Legend tells of King Bajiratha, who meditated for thousands of years to bring the Ganges down from the heavens. His goal was to cleanse the ashes of his ancestors, allowing their souls to ascend to liberation. But the earth could not withstand the power of the divine river's descent. To prevent catastrophe, Lord Shiva intervened, catching the Ganges in his tangled locks and releasing it gently to earth. This act not only saved the planet but also infused the river with Shiva's blessings, making its waters eternally purifying. For Hindus, bathing in the Ganges is more than a ritual, it's an act of spiritual renewal. The belief is that its waters can wash away lifetimes of sins, offering a path to liberation. This faith reaches its zenith during the Kumbh Mela, the largest religious gathering on earth. Every 12 years, millions of pilgrims flock to the river's banks, immersing themselves in its sacred currents. The air buzzes with chants, prayers, and the sound of temple bells as people from all walks of life come together in a shared quest for purity. The Kumbh Mela is a spectacle of devotion, a testament to the enduring power of the Ganges in the hearts of millions. But the river's role doesn't end with life, it extends into death as well. Along the Ghats of Varanasi, one of the oldest cities in the world, the Ganges becomes a bridge to the afterlife. Hindus believe that cremating the dead on its banks and scattering their ashes in its waters ensures the soul's release from the cycle of rebirth. The river, in this sense, is not just a purifier but a guide carrying the departed to their final destination. Yet, despite its sacred status, the Ganges faces a paradox that mirrors humanity's complex relationship with nature. The very waters believed to cleanse sins are now polluted by industrial waste, sewage, and human activity. This contradiction raises profound questions about how we honor what we hold sacred, and whether we can reconcile reverence with responsibility. As we reflect on the Ganges and its spiritual legacy, we're reminded that this reverence for water extends beyond rivers. Lakes, too, have been woven into the fabric of ancient beliefs, often serving as gateways to the divine or as sites of profound mystery. From the high-altitude lakes of the Andes to the legendary waters of Avalon, these bodies of water have inspired awe, devotion, and countless myths. And as we'll see, their stories are just as captivating as those of the sacred rivers that have shaped human spirituality for millennia. High in the Andes, where the air is thin and the sky feels close enough to touch, lies Lake Titicaca, a shimmering expanse of blue that has been revered as the cradle of life itself. To the Inca, this lake wasn't just a body of water, it was the birthplace of their gods and the origin of their civilization. According to their creation myth, the sun god Inti and the moon goddess Mama Killa first emerged from the depths of Lake Titicaca, bringing light and order to a world shrouded in darkness. From these divine beginnings, the Inca believed their ancestors were born, rising from the sacred waters to populate the earth. This powerful myth not only rooted their identity in the lake, but also elevated it to a place of profound spiritual significance. The story goes that Inti, the sun god, and Mama Killa, his sister and consort, created the first Inca rulers, Manco Capac and Mama Oclo, on the island of the sun, a place considered the heart of the lake's sacred power. These semi-divine beings were sent by Inti to bring civilization to humanity. Armed with a golden staff, Manco Capac was instructed to travel until the staff sank into the ground, signaling the rightful place to establish the Inca capital Cusco. This myth not only explained the origins of the Inca people, but also justified their divine right to rule, intertwining their history with the sacred geography of Lake Titicaca. The lake's spiritual importance is mirrored in the ruins of Tuanaku, an ancient city that predates the Inca and lies just south of the lake. Tuanaku was once a thriving center of culture and religion, its temples and monuments aligned with celestial events. The Gate of the Sun, a massive stone archway carved with intricate symbols, stands as a testament to the advanced astronomical knowledge of its builders. Many believe this site was a pilgrimage destination, a place where the ancient Andean peoples connected with the divine forces they believed governed their world. Even today, Lake Titicaca remains a vital site of pilgrimage and ritual. indigenous communities continue to honor the lake's sacred legacy, offering gifts of coca leaves, flowers, and even small boats to the waters, seeking blessings from Inti and Mama Killa. The island of the sun, with its terraced hills and ancient ruins, draws visitors from around the world, each step on its soil echoing the footsteps of pilgrims who have come for centuries to pay homage to the gods. The lake's enduring spiritual significance is a reminder of how deeply ancient beliefs can shape a culture's identity, even in the modern world. But Lake Titicaca isn't alone in its mythical status. Across the globe, lakes have been revered as places of creation, transformation, and divine presence. From the legendary waters of Avalon, said to be a gateway to the otherworld, to the volcanic crater Lake in Oregon, where the Klamath people believed their creator god resided, these bodies of water have inspired awe and devotion in countless cultures. Each lake carries its own stories, its own myths, yet they all share a common thread, a recognition of water as something more than physical, as a force that connects the earthly and the divine. As we move from the high-altitude mystique of Lake Titicaca to other mythical waters, we'll see how these ancient beliefs reflect a universal human longing to find meaning in the natural world. Whether it's a river, a lake, or an ocean, water has always been more than just a resource. It's a mirror of our deepest hopes, fears, and aspirations. And as we continue our journey, we'll uncover how these sacred waters continue to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers flow like twin arteries through the heart of Mesopotamia, their waters nourishing the land that gave birth to some of humanity's earliest civilizations. To the people of ancient Mesopotamia, these rivers were far more than sources of water. They were divine gifts, life-giving forces that shaped their world and their understanding of the cosmos. At the center of this reverence stood Enki, the god of wisdom and water, who was believed to control the flow of these rivers and, by extension, the fate of all who depended on them. Enki was more than a deity. He was the embodiment of the river's power, a guardian of knowledge and creation who ensured the land's fertility and prosperity. In the Mesopotamian worldview, water wasn't just a resource, it was the very essence of life and creation. This belief is vividly captured in the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic, where the universe begins as a watery chaos, a primordial ocean from which the gods themselves emerge. The Tigris and Euphrates, flowing from this divine source, were seen as extensions of this sacred origin, their waters carrying the spark of creation. It's no wonder that the Mesopotamians viewed their rivers with such awe and gratitude, seeing them as both physical and spiritual lifelines. One of the most striking examples of the river's significance can be found in the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest surviving works of literature. In this ancient tale, the Tigris and Euphrates are more than just settings, they are pathways to the divine. Gilgamesh, the legendary king, embarks on a quest for immortality that takes him across these sacred waters, symbolizing his journey from the mortal world to the realm of the gods. The rivers become thresholds, boundaries between life and death, mortality and eternity. In one poignant moment, Gilgamesh encounters Utnapishtim, the immortal survivor of a great flood who reveals the secrets of the gods. This flood narrative, strikingly similar to later stories like Noah's Ark, underscores the Mesopotamian belief in water as both a destroyer and a giver of life, a force capable of wiping away the old and birthing the new. But the Tigris and Euphrates were not just symbols of creation and immortality, they were also practical tools of divine order. The Mesopotamians believed that the gods used the rivers to communicate with humanity, sending floods or droughts as signs of their favor or displeasure. This dual role, life-giving and judgmental, made the rivers objects of both reverence and fear. Temples were built along their banks and rituals were performed to honor Enki and ensure the river's continued blessings. The annual floods, which deposited rich silt across the land, were seen as acts of divine generosity, renewing the soil and securing the harvest. The rivers also served as symbolic boundaries, separating the mundane world from the sacred. In Mesopotamian cosmology, the Tigris and Euphrates were not just physical rivers but cosmic ones, flowing through the heavens and the underworld. They connected the realms of gods, humans, and the dead, serving as conduits for spiritual journeys and divine messages. This idea of rivers as thresholds is a recurring theme in ancient cultures, reflecting a universal human instinct to see water as a mediator between worlds. As we explore the role of the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamian mythology, we're reminded of how deeply intertwined water and spirituality were in the ancient world. These rivers were not just geographical features, they were living entities imbued with divine power and meaning. And just as the Mesopotamians saw their rivers as pathways to the divine, other cultures around the world have found their own sacred waters, each carrying stories of creation, transformation, and connection. From the Nile to the Ganges, and from Lake Titicaca to the mythical lakes of the north, water has always been more than a resource, it's a mirror of our deepest beliefs and aspirations. And as we'll see, this connection continues to flow through the heart of human culture, shaping how we see ourselves and the world around us. The Jordan River winds its way through the arid landscapes of the Middle East, its waters carrying a weight of spiritual significance that transcends time and tradition. For followers of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, this river is far more than a geographical feature. It is a sacred pathway, a place where the divine and the earthly meet. Its waters have witnessed pivotal moments in religious history, becoming a symbol of faith, renewal, and transformation for millions. In the Hebrew Bible, the Jordan River marks a boundary between the wilderness and the Promised Land, a threshold of hope and divine promise. One of its most iconic moments comes in the book of Joshua, where the Israelites, led by Joshua, cross the Jordan on dry ground after years of wandering. This miraculous event, echoing the earlier crossing of the Red Sea, symbolizes not just a physical journey but a spiritual one, a passage from uncertainty to fulfillment, from exile to home. The river, in this context, becomes a divine instrument, a testament to God's power and faithfulness. Even today, the Jordan River holds a special place in Jewish tradition, remembered as a site of liberation and divine intervention. For Christians, the Jordan River takes on an equally profound meaning as the site of Jesus' baptism. According to the Gospels, it was here, in the waters of the Jordan, that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, marking the beginning of his public ministry. This event is not just a historical moment but a cornerstone of Christian theology. The act of baptism in the Jordan symbolizes purification, repentance, and the start of a new life in faith. Pilgrims from around the world come to the river to immerse themselves in its waters, seeking to connect with this sacred tradition and experience their own spiritual rebirth. The river, in this sense, becomes a living link to the divine, a place where the heavens opened and God's voice declared, "This is my beloved Son." In Islamic tradition, the Jordan River is also revered, though its significance is often intertwined with the broader landscape of the Holy Land. It is mentioned in the Quran as a place of blessings and divine favor, and it holds a special place in the stories of prophets shared across Abrahamic faiths. For Muslims, the river is a reminder of the interconnectedness of these traditions, a shared heritage of faith and devotion. What makes the Jordan River so unique is its ability to bridge these three great religions, serving as a shared symbol of spiritual transformation. Its waters have been a witness to some of the most defining moments in religious history, from the crossing of the Israelites to the baptism of Jesus. Yet, beyond these specific events, the river embodies a universal theme: water as a source of renewal and rebirth, Across cultures and faiths, water has been seen as a medium of purification, a way to wash away the old and embrace the new. The Jordan River, with its rich history and enduring symbolism, stands as a powerful reminder of this timeless truth. As we reflect on the sacred waters of the Jordan, we're reminded that this reverence for water as a transformative force is not limited to one tradition or one river. From the Ganges to the Nile, from Lake Titicaca to the Tigris and Euphrates, water has always been more than a physical resource. It is a mirror of our deepest spiritual longings, a symbol of life, death, and rebirth. And as we continue to explore these sacred waters, we'll see how they continue to shape our understanding of the divine and our place within the cosmos. Deep within the lush expanse of the Amazon rainforest, the Amazon River flows like a pulsing vein, its waters weaving through an ecosystem of unparalleled diversity. To the indigenous peoples who have lived along its banks for millennia, this river is far more than a source of life. It is a living entity, a being with its own spirit and consciousness. The Amazon is not just a river, it is a guardian, a teacher, and a sacred force that sustains both the physical and spiritual worlds of those who revere it. Among the many myths that surround this mighty river, one of the most captivating is the story of Yara, the water goddess whose essence is said to flow through its currents. Yara, also known as Yara, is a figure of both beauty and power in Amazonian folklore. She is often depicted as a mermaid-like being, her voice as mesmerizing as the river itself. According to legend, Yara was once a mortal woman, a skilled warrior whose strength and wisdom earned her the jealousy of her brothers. Betrayed and cast into the river to die, she was transformed by the water spirits into a goddess, her spirit merging with the Amazon. From that day forward, Yara became the protector of the river, its waters carrying her voice and her presence. Fishermen and travelers would tell tales of hearing her songs, luring them into the depths, a reminder of the river's dual nature as both life-giver and taker. For the people of the Amazon, Yara embodies the river's power, its mystery, and its ability to inspire both awe and reverence. This belief in the river as a living, spiritual being is central to the shamanic traditions of the Amazon. Shamans, or spiritual healers, often turn to the river in their rituals, seeking its guidance and blessings. The waters of the Amazon are believed to hold profound healing properties, capable of cleansing not just the body but the soul. In ceremonies, shamans might call upon the spirit of the river to help them navigate the unseen realms, using its energy to connect with ancestors, spirits, and the forces of nature. The river becomes a conduit, a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, its currents carrying prayers and offerings to the divine. But the Amazon River's significance extends beyond its spiritual role. It is the lifeblood of the rainforest, sustaining an unparalleled level of biodiversity. The river's waters nourish the trees, plants, and animals that call the rainforest home, creating a delicate balance that has thrived for millions of years. Indigenous communities understand this interconnectedness deeply, seeing themselves as stewards of the river and the land it sustains. Their way of life is a testament to the harmony that can exist between humans and nature when reverence and respect guide their actions. What makes the Amazon unique is how vividly it personifies the ancient human instinct to see water as more than just a resource. Across cultures, rivers and lakes have been personified, worshipped, and feared as beings with their own will and power. From the Ganges to the Nile, from Lake Titicaca to the Tigris and Euphrates, water has always been seen as a force with its own spirit, a force that connects us to the divine, to nature, and to each other. The Amazon River, with its myths, rituals, and ecological importance, is a powerful reminder of this universal truth. As we reflect on the Amazon and its spiritual legacy, we're reminded that these sacred waters are not just relics of the past. they are living, breathing forces that continue to shape the world today. They challenge us to rethink our relationship with nature, to see the rivers and lakes around us not as resources to be exploited, but as beings to be respected and protected. And as we continue our journey through the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this ancient wisdom can guide us toward a deeper understanding of our place within the natural world. Nestled between the rugged cliffs of Jordan and Israel, the Dead Sea lies like a shimmering mirror, its surface reflecting the stark beauty of its surroundings. But this is no ordinary lake. Known as the saltiest body of water on Earth, the Dead Sea is a place of paradoxes, its waters devoid of life yet brimming with healing properties, its shores barren yet steeped in ancient stories of destruction and renewal. For thousands of years, this enigmatic lake has captivated the human imagination, serving as both a symbol of desolation and a source of hope. In the Bible, the Dead Sea is often associated with the dramatic tale of Sodom and Gomorrah, two cities destroyed by divine judgment for their wickedness. According to the book of Genesis, fire and brimstone rained down from the heavens, reducing the cities to ash and transforming the fertile valley into a lifeless wasteland. Some traditions suggest that the Dead Sea now covers the ruins of these ancient cities, its waters a somber reminder of divine justice. The lake's high salinity, which makes it nearly impossible for most forms of life to survive, has only reinforced its reputation as a place of death and desolation. Yet, even in this harsh environment, there is a strange allure, a sense of mystery that has drawn pilgrims, healers, and explorers for centuries. Despite its name, the Dead Sea has long been celebrated for its life-giving properties. The minerals found in its waters and along its shores, magnesium, potassium, and calcium, among others, have been used since ancient times for their therapeutic benefits. Cleopatra herself is said to have established one of the world's first spas here, harnessing the lake's unique resources to create beauty and wellness treatments. Even today, visitors flock to the Dead Sea to soak in its mineral-rich waters, seeking relief from skin conditions, arthritis, and other ailments. This duality, its association with both death and healing, makes the Dead Sea a fascinating study in contrasts, a place where the line between destruction and renewal becomes blurred. But the Dead Sea's significance goes beyond its physical properties. In many ancient cultures, lakes were seen as gateways to the underworld, places where the boundaries between the living and the dead were thin. The Dead Sea, with its eerie stillness and lifeless waters, fits this archetype perfectly. Its shores have long been associated with spiritual journeys, both literal and metaphorical, as people sought to connect with the divine or confront the mysteries of existence. For some, the lake's desolate beauty served as a reminder of the fragility of life. For others, it was a place of transformation where the old could be washed away and the new could begin. As we reflect on the Dead Sea and its many layers of meaning, we're reminded that water, whether in the form of a river, a lake, or an ocean, has always held a special place in the human psyche. It is both a destroyer and a healer, a source of life and a symbol of death. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll uncover even more stories of how these ancient beliefs continue to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. From the legendary lakes of the Andes to the mythical rivers of Mesopotamia, water remains a powerful force, a mirror of our deepest fears and highest hopes. And as we journey deeper into these stories, we'll see how they continue to flow through the heart of human culture, connecting us to the past and guiding us toward the future. The Yangtze River stretches across China like a colossal dragon, its waters carving through mountains, plains, and cities, shaping the land and the lives of those who dwell along its banks. In Chinese mythology, this mighty river is more than a geographical feature. It is a living force, a symbol of power, and a conduit of Kai, the vital energy that flows through all things. Known as the dragon's vein, the Yangtze is deeply entwined with the imagery of dragons, creatures revered in Chinese culture as embodiments of strength, wisdom, and the natural order. To understand the Yangtze is to step into a world where rivers are not just bodies of water but sacred threads connecting heaven and earth. At the heart of the Yangtze's mythos lies the legend of the Dragon King, a powerful deity who rules over the waters. In Chinese folklore, the Dragon King is not a single figure but a collective of dragon rulers, each governing a different body of water. The Yangtze's Dragon King is said to reside in the river's depths, controlling its currents, floods, and droughts. Farmers and fishermen would offer prayers and sacrifices to this deity, seeking his favor to ensure bountiful harvests and safe voyages. The Dragon King's influence extended beyond the physical realm. He was seen as a mediator between the human world and the heavens, a guardian of balance and harmony. This belief reflects a broader cultural understanding of water as a force that must be respected and appeased, a force that could bring life or devastation depending on its mood. The Yangtze's connection to dragons goes even deeper. In Chinese cosmology, dragons are often associated with the flow of Kai, the life force that animates the universe. The river's winding course was seen as a physical manifestation of this energy, its waters carrying the breath of the dragon across the land. This idea is echoed in the practice of Feng Shui, where the placement of homes, temples, and cities is designed to align with the natural flow of Kai, often guided by the paths of rivers like the Yangtze. The river, in this sense, becomes a living map of cosmic order, its currents shaping not just the landscape but the spiritual and cultural identity of the people. But the Yangtze's significance isn't confined to mythology. For thousands of years, it has been the lifeblood of Chinese agriculture, its fertile banks supporting rice paddies, tea plantations, and countless other crops. The river's annual floods, though sometimes destructive, deposited nutrient-rich silt that rejuvenated the soil, making it one of the most productive regions in the world. This agricultural abundance fueled the growth of cities, trade routes, and civilizations, turning the Yangtze Basin into a cradle of Chinese culture. Along its banks, poets wrote odes to its beauty, artists painted its landscapes, and philosophers pondered its mysteries. The river became a muse, inspiring some of China's most enduring works of art and literature. Spiritually, the Yangtze has also served as a site of pilgrimage and reflection. Temples and shrines dot its shores, each dedicated to deities who watch over the river and its people. Pilgrims would travel to these sacred sites to offer prayers, meditate, and seek blessings. The river's waters were believed to carry the prayers of the faithful to the heavens, acting as a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Even today, the Yangtze continues to hold a special place in the hearts of many Chinese people. Its waters are a reminder of the enduring connection between humanity and nature. What makes the Yangtze unique is how it embodies the dual nature of water in human consciousness, both a physical necessity and a spiritual force. Like the Nile, the Ganges, and the Tigris, the Yangtze is more than a river. It is a symbol of life, a source of inspiration, and a reflection of the cosmic order. As we explore these sacred waters, we begin to see a pattern, a universal recognition of rivers as more than just resources, but as beings that connect us to the divine, to nature, and to each other. And as we move from the dragon's vein of China to other legendary waters, we'll uncover even more stories of how these rivers have shaped the world and the human spirit. In the misty highlands of Scotland, Loch Ness stretches like a long, dark ribbon, its waters shrouded in mystery and legend. This lake, one of the largest and deepest in the United Kingdom, has captivated imaginations for centuries, not just for its natural beauty, but for the enigmatic creature said to lurk beneath its surface, the Loch Ness Monster. Known affectionately as Nessie, this elusive being has become a symbol of the unknown, a figure that blurs the line between myth and reality. but the story of Loch Ness goes far deeper than its famous monster. Its waters are steeped in Celtic folklore, where the lake is seen not just as a body of water, but as a gateway to otherworldly realms. The legend of Nessie is thought to have ancient roots, possibly tied to the water spirits and supernatural beings that populate Celtic mythology. The Celts, who revered nature and saw the divine in every mountain, forest, and stream, often told stories of creatures that inhabited lakes and rivers. These beings were not always fearsome. Some were protectors, while others were tricksters, their motives as unpredictable as the waters they called home. Loch Ness, with its dark, peaty waters and dramatic cliffs, became a natural setting for such tales. The lake's depth, reaching over 700 feet in places, only added to its mystique, fueling speculation about what might dwell in its hidden depths. One of the most enduring aspects of the Loch Ness legend is its adaptability. Over time, the monster has taken on many forms, from a giant serpent to a plesiosaur or like creature, each description shaped by the cultural currents of the time. In the 20th century, Nessie became a global phenomenon, thanks in part to a famous photograph taken in 1933, which appeared to show a long-necked creature emerging from the water. Though later debunked, the image captured the world's imagination, turning Loch Ness into a magnet for adventurers, scientists, and curious visitors. The monster became a symbol of the unexplained, a reminder that even in our modern age, there are still mysteries waiting to be unraveled. But Loch Ness is more than just the home of a legendary monster. In Celtic tradition, lakes were often seen as thresholds to the otherworld, places where the veil between the human and the divine was thin. Stories abound of fairy mounds, hidden cities, and enchanted islands that lie beneath the surface of these waters. Loch Ness, with its eerie stillness and ever-changing mists, fits perfectly into this tradition. It's easy to imagine how ancient storytellers, gazing out over the lake, might have conjured tales of spirits and creatures that dwelled in its depths. These stories weren't just entertainment, they were a way of understanding the world, of finding meaning in the unknown. The cultural impact of the Loch Ness legend is undeniable. It has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries, becoming a cornerstone of Scottish identity and a global icon of mystery. Every year, thousands of visitors flock to the lake, hoping for a glimpse of Nessie or simply to soak in the atmosphere of a place that feels both ancient and alive. The legend has also sparked scientific curiosity, with numerous expeditions launched to search for evidence of the creature. While no definitive proof has been found, the search itself has become part of the story, a testament to humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. What makes Loch Ness so compelling is how it embodies the universal allure of lakes as settings for supernatural stories. From the highlands of Scotland to the mountains of the Andes, lakes have long been seen as places of mystery and magic. Their deep, still waters seem to hold secrets, their surfaces reflecting not just the sky but the imagination of those who gaze upon them. And as we explore these legendary waters, we're reminded that the line between myth and reality is often as fluid as the rivers and lakes that inspire them. Whether it's Nessie, the spirits of Lake Titicaca, or the dragons of the Yangtze, these stories continue to flow through the heart of human culture, connecting us to the past and inviting us to dream of what might lie beneath the surface. Flowing through the heart of Europe, the Rhine River wins its way past castles, vineyards, and steep cliffs, its waters carrying not just the currents of a mighty river, but the echoes of ancient myths and legends. To the Germanic and Norse peoples, the Rhine was far more than a geographical feature. It was a stage for epic tales of heroism, betrayal, and divine intervention. Among the most famous of these stories is the Nibelungenlied, a medieval epic that weaves together the fates of kings, warriors, and gods. At its heart lies the Rhine Gold, a treasure of unimaginable value and power, guarded by the river's nymphs and coveted by mortals and gods alike. According to the legend, the Rhinegold's curse brings ruin to all who possess it, a stark reminder of the dangers of greed and ambition. The river itself becomes a character in this drama, its waters hiding the treasure and its currents shaping the destiny of those who seek it. But the Rhine's mythical significance doesn't end with the Nibelungenlied. Along its banks stands the Loreley Rock, a towering cliff that has inspired countless stories of enchantment and peril. According to legend, the Loreley is home to a siren-like figure, a beautiful maiden whose haunting song lures sailors to their doom. The river's treacherous currents, combined with the rock's imposing presence, made this stretch of the Rhine particularly dangerous for ancient mariners. Over time, the Loreley became a symbol of the river's dual nature, both a source of life and a bringer of death. Her story reflects a universal theme in mythology, the idea that water, for all its life-giving power, can also be a force of destruction. The Loreley song, like the river itself, is irresistible yet perilous, a reminder of the thin line between beauty and danger. The Rhine's role in Germanic and Norse mythology goes beyond individual legends. It was seen as a boundary between worlds, a physical and spiritual threshold that separated the human realm from the divine. The river's waters were believed to carry the spirits of the dead to the afterlife, much like the Nile in Egypt or the Ganges in India. This connection between rivers and the afterlife is a recurring theme in ancient cultures, reflecting a deep-seated belief in water as a medium of transformation. The Rhine, with its powerful currents and dramatic landscapes, embodied this idea perfectly. Its waters were both a pathway to the divine and a barrier to be crossed, a place where heroes faced their greatest challenges and where mortals confronted the mysteries of existence. What makes the Rhine unique is how its physical characteristics, its rocky cliffs, swirling currents, and hidden depths shaped the myths and stories that grew around it. The river's treacherous waters inspired tales of heroism and tragedy, while its beauty and grandeur made it a natural setting for stories of gods and mortals. The Loreley Rock, with its siren song, and the Rhinegold, with its cursed treasure, are just two examples of how the river became a canvas for human imagination. These stories, passed down through generations, remind us of the power of rivers to inspire awe and wonder, to challenge and transform those who encounter them. As we reflect on the Rhine and its rich tapestry of myths, we're reminded that rivers have always been more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing forces that shape the land, the people, and the stories that define them. From the Loreley's haunting song to the Rhinegold's cursed treasure, the Rhine invites us to see rivers as more than physical entities. They are protectors and destroyers, givers of life and bringers of death, thresholds between worlds and mirrors of our deepest fears and aspirations. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how these ancient beliefs continue to flow through the heart of human culture, connecting us to the past and guiding us toward the future. Deep in the heart of Siberia, where the air is crisp and the landscape stretches endlessly, lies Lake Baikal, a body of water so vast, so ancient, that it has earned the name Sacred Sea. To the Bajiratha people who have lived along its shores for centuries, Baikal is far more than a lake. It is a living, breathing entity, a spirit that connects the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. Known as Baikal Nua in the Bajiratha language, this immense freshwater lake is not just a geographical wonder. It is a sacred force that shapes the spiritual and cultural identity of those who revere it. In Bajiratha shamanism, water is more than a physical element. It is a bridge between worlds. Lake Baikal, with its crystal-clear waters and mysterious depths, is believed to be a portal where the boundaries between the earthly and the divine dissolve. The Bajiratha shamans, or Udgans, see the lake as a living being with its own consciousness, a guardian spirit that watches over the land and its people. Rituals are often performed along its shores, offerings of milk, grain, and ribbons made to honor the lake's spirit and seek its blessings. These rituals reflect a profound understanding of nature as something alive and sacred, a belief that has guided the Bajiratha way of life for generations. The lake's spiritual significance is deeply tied to its physical characteristics. Baikal is the deepest and oldest freshwater lake in the world, its waters holding nearly 20% of the planet's unfrozen freshwater. Its unique ecosystem, home to species found nowhere else on Earth, adds to its aura of mystery. The Bajiratha people believe that the lake's waters are connected to the sky above and the underworld below, creating a cosmic axis that links all three realms. This idea is echoed in their creation myths, which tell of a time when the earth was covered in water, and Baikal emerged as a gift from the gods, a place where the divine and the earthly could meet. One of the most captivating figures in Bajiratha folklore is the spirit of Lake Baikal itself, often personified as a powerful and benevolent being. According to legend, the lake's spirit can take the form of a great dragon or a wise old man, appearing in dreams and visions to offer guidance or warnings. The Bajiratha people also tell stories of Ongons, sacred spirits that reside in the lake and its surrounding forests. These spirits are believed to influence the natural world, from the weather to the behavior of animals, and are honored through rituals and offerings. The lake, in this sense, becomes a living tapestry of myth and meaning, its waters carrying the echoes of countless generations who have sought its wisdom. But Lake Baikal's significance isn't confined to spirituality alone. Its waters are a source of life, sustaining communities and ecosystems alike. The lake's unique biodiversity, including the endemic Baikal seal or Nerpa, has made it a focal point of scientific study and environmental conservation. Yet, even as modern science seeks to understand Baikal's mysteries, the Bajiratha people continue to honor its sacred legacy, blending ancient traditions with contemporary efforts to protect this natural treasure. The lake's enduring importance is a testament to the power of water as both a physical resource and a spiritual force. What makes Lake Baikal particularly fascinating is how it embodies the universal human instinct to see lakes as mirrors of the heavens. Across cultures, from Siberia to the Andes, lakes have been revered as reflections of the sky, their still waters capturing the light of the stars and the movement of the clouds. In many traditions, lakes are seen as places where the boundaries between the earthly and the celestial blur, where the divine can be glimpsed in the ripples of the water. Lake Baikal, with its immense size and otherworldly beauty, fits perfectly into this archetype. Its waters, like a cosmic mirror, reflect not just the sky but the dreams and beliefs of those who gaze upon them. As we explore the sacred waters of Lake Baikal, we're reminded of how deeply intertwined humanity's spiritual and ecological relationships with water have always been. From the shamanic rituals of the Bajiratha people to the scientific efforts to preserve its unique ecosystem, Baikal stands as a symbol of the delicate balance between reverence and responsibility. And as we continue our journey through the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this ancient wisdom can guide us toward a deeper understanding of our place within the natural world. From the depths of Siberia to the shores of Loch Ness, water remains a powerful force, a mirror of our deepest fears and highest hopes, and a reminder of the sacred connection that binds us all. Flowing through the heart of London, the Thames River has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of legends, and the unfolding of countless human stories. More than just a river, the Thames is a living chronicle of British history, its waters carrying the echoes of kings, poets, and ordinary people who have shaped the nation's identity. From the mystical tales of King Arthur to the grim realities of the Great Plague, the Thames has been a source of life, a site of tragedy, and a repository of collective memory. Its currents hold secrets that span centuries, weaving together myth and history in a way that continues to captivate the imagination. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Thames is that of King Arthur, the mythical king whose story has become a cornerstone of British folklore. According to some versions of the tale, Arthur's sword, Excalibur, was thrown into the river after his final battle, returning to the Lady of the Lake who had first bestowed it upon him. While the exact location of this event is debated, the Thames has often been linked to the legend, its waters symbolizing both the rise and fall of a golden age. For centuries, the river has been seen as a place where the boundaries between the earthly and the mystical blur, where heroes and gods might still walk among us. This connection to Arthurian lore adds a layer of enchantment to the Thames, transforming it from a simple river into a vessel of myth and magic. But the Thames is not just a river of legends, it is also a river of life. For the ancient Britons, the river was a sacred site, its waters used in rituals and ceremonies that honored the natural world. Offerings of precious objects, from jewelry to weapons, have been found in its depths, suggesting that the Thames was seen as a bridge between the human and the divine. These offerings, often made during times of crisis or celebration, reflect a deep reverence for the river as a source of power and protection. Even today, the Thames continues to inspire awe, its banks dotted with landmarks that tell the story of Britain's past, from the Tower of London to the Houses of Parliament. Yet the Thames has also been a witness to darker chapters in history. During the Great Plague of 1665, the river became a grim symbol of death and despair. As the plague ravaged London, the Thames carried away the bodies of the dead, its waters stained with the tragedy of a city brought to its knees. The river, once a source of life, became a lifeline in the most desperate sense, as people turned to it for survival even as it bore the weight of their loss. This duality, the Thames as both giver and taker of life, reveals the complex role that rivers have played in human history, serving as both protectors and reminders of our vulnerability. The Thames' cultural significance extends far beyond its physical presence. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and music, from the poetry of William Wordsworth to the paintings of J. M. W. Turner. Its waters have been a muse for generations, capturing the imagination of artists who sought to capture its beauty and its power. Even in modern times, the Thames remains a symbol of London itself, its iconic bridges and skyline reflecting the city's ever-changing identity. The river is more than a backdrop. It is a character in the story of Britain, its currents shaping the lives of those who live along its banks. What makes the Thames so remarkable is how it embodies the idea of rivers as repositories of collective memory. Its waters carry not just the physical traces of history, the artifacts, the ruins, the remnants of human activity, but also the intangible legacy of the stories, myths, and emotions that have been tied to it for centuries. From the legends of King Arthur to the tragedies of the Great Plague, the Thames reminds us that rivers are more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing entities that connect us to the past, to each other, and to the mysteries that lie beneath the surface. As we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this idea of rivers as keepers of memory echoes in cultures around the globe, shaping how we understand our place in the world. In the heart of Southeast Asia, the Mekong River flows like a living artery, its waters weaving through 6 countries and nurturing the lives of millions. But to the people who live along its banks, the Mekong is far more than a source of water. It is a sacred force, a river teeming with spirits and deities that shape the rhythm of life. Known as the Mother of Waters, the Mekong holds a central place in the spiritual and cultural identity of the region, its currents carrying not just fish and fertile silt, but also the prayers and offerings of those who revere it. At the heart of this reverence lies a deep connection to both Buddhist and animist traditions, where the river is seen as a bridge between the human and the divine. One of the most vibrant expressions of this spiritual connection is the Wafa El Nil Festival in Laos, a celebration that honors the Mekong's role in sustaining life and connecting communities. Held annually, the festival centers around the That Luang Stupa, a golden monument that symbolizes the heart of Lao Buddhism. As part of the festivities, thousands of people gather along the river to release illuminated boats or krathong into its waters. These small, candlelit vessels carry prayers and offerings to the river spirits, asking for blessings, protection, and good fortune. The sight of hundreds of lights floating on the Mekong's dark surface is both mesmerizing and deeply symbolic, a reminder of the river's dual role as a physical and spiritual lifeline. The Mekong's spiritual significance is rooted in a blend of Buddhist and animist beliefs, where the river is seen as a living entity with its own consciousness. In animist traditions, the Mekong is home to Fae, or spirits, who inhabit its waters and surrounding landscapes. These spirits are believed to influence everything from the success of the harvest to the health of the community, and rituals are often performed to honor them. Offerings of food, flowers, and incense are made to appease the spirits, ensuring their favor and protection. At the same time, Buddhist practices emphasize the river as a source of purification and renewal, its waters capable of washing away sins and bringing spiritual clarity. This dual perspective, seeing the river as both a home for spirits and a tool for spiritual growth, reflects the complex relationship between humanity and the natural world. But the Mekong's role as a spiritual conduit extends beyond individual rituals and festivals. In many Southeast Asian cultures, rivers are seen as pathways for spiritual energy, channels that connect the earthly realm with the divine. The Mekong, with its vast network of tributaries and its ability to nourish the land, embodies this idea perfectly. Its waters are believed to carry not just physical sustenance but also spiritual blessings flowing through the lives of those who depend on it. This belief is reflected in the way communities along the river organize their lives, from the timing of agricultural activities to the design of temples and shrines. The river becomes a living map of spiritual geography, its currents shaping not just the landscape but also the beliefs and practices of the people. As we reflect on the Mekong and its spiritual legacy, we're reminded that rivers have always been more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing entities that connect us to the divine, to nature, and to each other. The Mekong, with its festivals, rituals, and myths, is a powerful example of how water can inspire both reverence and responsibility. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this ancient wisdom continues to flow through the heart of human culture, shaping how we understand our place in the world and the forces that sustain it. From the illuminated boats of the Wafa El Nil Festival to the whispered prayers to the Fae spirits, the Mekong reminds us that rivers are not just physical resources, they are mirrors of our deepest beliefs and aspirations. Stretching across the border between the United States and Canada, the Great Lakes stand as a vast, interconnected system of freshwater, their shores steeped in stories that span centuries. For the Native American tribes who have called this region home for thousands of years, these lakes are more than bodies of water. They are sacred spaces, alive with spirits and legends that reflect the deep connection between people and nature. Among the most captivating of these stories is the Ojibwe legend of Mythical, the underwater panther. This fearsome yet revered creature is said to dwell in the depths of the Great Lakes, its serpentine body and copper scales embodying the power and mystery of the waters. Mythical is both a protector and a challenger, a being that demands respect and offers lessons about the delicate balance of life. According to Ojibwe tradition, Mythical controls the lake's currents, storms, and even the abundance of fish. Those who venture onto the waters must honor this spirit through offerings and rituals, or risk facing its wrath. The legend of Mythical is more than a tale of caution. It's a reflection of the Ojibwe's profound respect for the natural world. The underwater panther serves as a reminder that the lakes are not simply resources to be exploited, but living entities with their own will and power. This belief has shaped the way the Ojibwe and other indigenous peoples interact with the Great Lakes, fostering a relationship rooted in reverence and stewardship. Yet the Great Lakes are not only home to ancient myths. Over the centuries, their waters have also become the setting for more modern legends, particularly those involving shipwrecks and ghost ships. The lake's unpredictable weather and treacherous currents have claimed countless vessels, their stories preserved in the haunting tales of mariners and locals. One of the most famous is the legend of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a massive freighter that sank in Lake Superior during a violent storm in 1975. The tragedy, immortalized in song and folklore, has become a symbol of the lake's dual nature, both life-giving and perilous. Stories of ghostly ships appearing in the mist, their crews forever lost to the waves, add an eerie layer to the lake's mystique, blending history with the supernatural. But beyond their legends, the Great Lakes hold immense cultural and ecological significance. They are a vital source of fresh water, supporting millions of people and countless species of plants and animals. For the indigenous peoples of the region, the lakes are not just physical resources but spiritual ones, woven into their identity and traditions. The annual ceremonies and offerings made to Mythical and other water spirits reflect a worldview that sees humanity as part of the natural order rather than separate from it. This perspective offers a powerful contrast to modern approaches that often prioritize exploitation over harmony, reminding us of the wisdom embedded in ancient beliefs. The Great Lakes also serve as symbols of unity and division. On one hand, they connect communities across two nations, their waters fostering trade, travel, and cultural exchange. On the other, they have been sites of conflict and competition, as different groups have sought to control their resources. This duality mirrors the role of lakes in many cultures, places where boundaries blur, where the sacred and the mundane intersect, and where the forces of nature and human ambition collide. As we explore the legends and realities of the Great Lakes, we're reminded of how water shapes not just the land, but the stories we tell about ourselves and the world. From the fearsome Mythical to the ghostly ships that haunt their depths, the lakes are a testament to the enduring power of myth and memory. And as we continue to navigate the sacred waters of the world, we'll see how these ancient stories can guide us toward a deeper understanding of our place within the natural world, a world where rivers and lakes are not just physical features, but living, breathing forces that connect us all. Flowing across the vast expanse of Russia, the Volga River stretches like a lifeline, its waters carving through forests, steppes, and cities to connect the heart of the nation. Known as the Mother Volga, this majestic river is more than a geographical landmark. It is a symbol of Russian identity, a source of inspiration, and a living embodiment of the country's soul. In Russian folklore, the Volga is often personified as a nurturing mother, her waters providing sustenance, protection, and a sense of belonging to those who live along her banks. This maternal image reflects the deep connection between the river and the people, a bond that has shaped Russian culture, history, and spirituality for centuries. In Slavic mythology, rivers were seen as sacred, their waters imbued with the power to cleanse, heal, and connect the earthly with the divine. The Volga, as the longest river in Europe, held a special place in this spiritual landscape. She was revered as a goddess-like figure, her currents carrying the prayers and offerings of those who sought her blessings. Stories and songs celebrated her generosity, describing how she fed the land, guided travelers, and protected villages from invaders. The river's name itself is thought to derive from ancient Slavic words meaning moisture or wetness, underscoring her role as a giver of life. Even today, the Volga remains a powerful symbol of resilience and renewal, her waters reflecting the hopes and struggles of the Russian people. The Volga's influence extends far beyond mythology. For centuries, she has been the backbone of Russian trade and commerce, her waters serving as a vital artery for the movement of goods, people, and ideas. During the medieval period, the river was part of the famous trade route linking the Baltic Sea to the Caspian Sea, connecting Russia with distant lands like Persia and the Byzantine Empire. Merchants, warriors, and pilgrims traveled her currents, bringing with them not just goods but also cultural exchange and innovation. The river's strategic importance made her a focal point of power struggles, with cities like Kazan and Astrakhan rising along her banks as centers of commerce and conflict. Through it all, the Volga endured, her steady flow a reminder of continuity amidst change. Culturally, the Volga has inspired some of Russia's most beloved works of art, literature, and music. The river's beauty and significance have been immortalized in the paintings of Ilya Repin, the poetry of Alexander Pushkin, and the stirring melodies of traditional folk songs. One of the most famous, the Song of the Volga Boatmen, captures the spirit of the river and the people who worked along her shores, the song's haunting refrain, I Uknam. Hey, heave ho, echoes the labor of the barge haulers who once pulled heavy ships against the current, their struggles a testament to the river's power and the resilience of those who depended on her. These artistic expressions reflect the Volga's role not just as a physical presence but as a source of national pride and identity. Spiritually, the Volga has long been a site of pilgrimage and reflection. Along her banks stand monasteries, churches, and shrines, each dedicated to saints and deities who watch over the river and her people. Pilgrims travel to these sacred sites to seek healing, guidance, and a deeper connection to the divine. The river's waters are believed to carry the prayers of the faithful, acting as a bridge between the mortal and the eternal. This spiritual dimension adds another layer to the Volga's significance, transforming her from a mere river into a living, breathing force that shapes the lives of those who revere her. What makes the Volga unique is how she embodies the idea of rivers as national symbols. Like the Nile in Egypt, the Ganges in India, and the Yangtze in China, the Volga is more than a river, she is a mirror of a nation's soul. Her waters reflect the history, culture, and aspirations of the Russian people, carrying the stories of generations who have lived, worked, and dreamed along her banks. As we reflect on the Volga's legacy, we're reminded of how rivers can unite a nation, serving as both physical and spiritual lifelines. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this connection between rivers and national identity echoes across cultures, shaping how we understand ourselves and the world around us. The Zambezi River cuts through southern Africa like a serpent of power, its waters winding through lush landscapes and rocky gorges, carrying with it stories as deep and mysterious as its currents. For the Tonga people who have lived along its banks for centuries, the Zambezi is more than a river. It is a living force, a god, and a source of both life and awe. At the heart of their mythology lies Nyaminiami, the river god, a serpent-like deity with the head of a fish and the body of a dragon. Nyaminiami is said to reside in the river's depths, his presence felt in the swirling eddies and the roar of the rapids. To the Tonga, he is both protector and punisher, a being who can bring abundance or devastation depending on his will. This duality, creation and destruction, lies at the core of the Zambezi's spiritual significance. One of the most dramatic chapters in the Zambezi's modern history is the construction of the Kariba Dam in the 1950s. The dam, one of the largest in the world, was built to harness the river's power for hydroelectricity. But for the Tonga people, this project was more than an engineering feat. It was an act of defiance against Nyaminiami. According to legend, the river god was separated from his wife by the dam's construction, and his wrath manifested in catastrophic floods that nearly destroyed the project. Even today, some believe that Nyaminiami's spirit lingers in the waters, a reminder of the river's untamable nature. The Kariba Dam stands as a testament to humanity's ambition, but also as a symbol of the delicate balance between progress and respect for the natural world. The Zambezi's spiritual role extends beyond the legend of Nyaminiami. Along its banks, rituals and ceremonies are performed to honor the river and seek its blessings. Offerings of grain, tobacco, and traditional beer are made to the water spirits, ensuring their favor and protection. These rituals reflect a worldview that sees the river as a partner in life, its rhythms guiding the seasons, the harvests, and the fortunes of the people. The Zambezi is not just a resource, it is a sacred being, its waters carrying prayers and offerings to the divine. This deep connection between the river and its people is a reminder of how ancient cultures understood the natural world, not as something to be conquered, but as something to be revered. Perhaps the most iconic feature of the Zambezi is Victoria Falls, known locally as Mosi Oatunya, the smoke that thunders. This breathtaking waterfall, one of the largest in the world, is a place of awe-inspiring beauty and spiritual power. The Tonga believe that the falls are a gateway to the spirit world, their mist rising like smoke to the heavens. Standing at the edge of the falls, with the roar of the water drowning out all other sounds, it's easy to see why this place has inspired such reverence. The falls are not just a natural wonder, they are a symbol of the Zambezi's dual nature, its ability to create and destroy, to nourish and overwhelm. They remind us of the river's power, both physical and spiritual, and its role as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. The Zambezi story is one of contrasts, life and death, creation and destruction, reverence and defiance. It reflects a universal truth about rivers. They are not just bodies of water, but forces that shape the land, the people, and the stories we tell. From the legend of Nyaminiami to the thunder of Victoria Falls, the Zambezi invites us to see rivers as more than physical entities. They are living, breathing forces that connect us to the natural world and to the mysteries that lie beneath the surface. As we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this idea of rivers as symbols of both creation and destruction echoes across cultures, shaping how we understand our place within the cosmos. Flowing through the heart of Europe, the Danube River has long been a lifeline for empires, cultures, and myths. Stretching from the Black Forest in Germany to the Black Sea, this mighty river wins its way through 10 countries, its waters carrying the echoes of ancient gods, medieval merchants, and legendary heroes. To the Romans, the Danube was more than a river. It was a divine force personified as the god Danubius, who was worshipped for his life-giving waters and his role as a protector of the empire's northern frontier. Along its banks, Roman forts and settlements stood as testaments to the river's strategic importance, its currents serving as both a boundary and a bridge between the civilized world and the unknown lands beyond. The Danube's connection to mythology runs deep, intertwining with the legends of the Nibelungs, the same epic tales that gave us the Rheingold and the tragic hero Siegfried. In Central European folklore, the Danube became a stage for these stories, its waters reflecting the drama of love, betrayal, and divine intervention. The river's role in these myths is not just symbolic, it's a reminder of how rivers have always been more than physical features. They are living, breathing forces that shape the stories we tell about ourselves and our world. The Danube, with its powerful currents and dramatic landscapes, embodies this idea perfectly, its waters carrying the weight of centuries of human imagination. But the Danube's significance goes far beyond mythology. During the Middle Ages, the river became a vital artery of trade and commerce, connecting the cities of Central Europe with distant markets in the Byzantine Empire and beyond. Merchants traveled its waters, their boats laden with spices, silks, and other precious goods, while towns like Vienna, Budapest, and Belgrade grew into thriving centers of culture and power. The river was not just a route for goods, it was a conduit for ideas, art, and innovation, fostering a vibrant exchange that shaped the identity of the region. The Danube became a symbol of unity and diversity, its waters flowing through lands divided by language, religion, and politics, yet bound together by a shared reliance on its currents. The river's cultural impact is still felt today. Along its banks, castles, cathedrals, and palaces stand as reminders of the empires that once rose and fell along its shores. The Danube Waltz, a beloved piece of classical music, captures the river's elegance and grace, its melodies evoking the timeless beauty of its landscapes. Even in modern times, the Danube continues to inspire artists, writers, and musicians, its waters a source of creativity and reflection. The river's enduring significance is a testament to its role as both a physical and spiritual lifeline, a force that has shaped the history and identity of Central Europe. What makes the Danube unique is how it embodies the dual nature of rivers as both boundaries and bridges. In ancient times, the river served as a natural border, separating the Roman Empire from the barbarian tribes to the north. Yet, it was also a bridge connecting different cultures and fostering exchange. This duality is a recurring theme in the history of rivers. They are both barriers and pathways, places where the lines between the familiar and the foreign blur. The Danube, with its rich history and cultural legacy, reminds us of how rivers can unite as well as divide, shaping the land and the people who live along their banks. As we reflect on the Danube's legacy, we're reminded that rivers are more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing forces that connect us to the past, to each other, and to the mysteries of the natural world. From the myths of the Nibelungs to the bustling markets of medieval Europe, the Danube invites us to see rivers as more than physical features. They are mirrors of our deepest beliefs and aspirations, forces that shape not just the land but the stories we tell about ourselves. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this ancient wisdom continues to flow through the heart of human culture, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of our place within the cosmos. Winding its way through the heart of America, the Mississippi River is more than just a body of water. It's a river of stories, a living chronicle of the nation's history, culture, and imagination. From the towering bluffs of Minnesota to the sun-drenched bayous of Louisiana, the Mississippi has inspired countless tales, myths, and songs, becoming a symbol of both the American spirit and its struggles. For Native American tribes like the Ojibwe and Sioux, the river was a sacred lifeline, its waters carrying legends of creation and connection. One such story tells of the great serpent Untehai, a powerful spirit said to dwell in the river's depths, shaping its currents and guarding its mysteries. These ancient myths remind us that, long before Europeans arrived, the Mississippi was already a place of wonder and reverence, its waters woven into the spiritual fabric of the land. The river's role in American folklore deepened with the arrival of European settlers who saw it as both a promise and a challenge. By the 19th century, the Mississippi had become a highway of trade and travel, its currents carrying steamboats laden with goods, dreams, and danger. It was this era that inspired one of America's most beloved storytellers, Mark Twain. In his iconic works like Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Twain immortalized the river as a place of adventure, freedom, and moral reckoning. Through the eyes of Huck and Jim, the Mississippi becomes more than a setting. It's a character in its own right, reflecting the complexities of American society, its beauty, its contradictions, and its unfulfilled promises. Twain's tales capture the river's dual nature, a source of life and a place of peril, a pathway to freedom and a reminder of the injustices that still haunt the nation. But the Mississippi's stories don't end with literature. Its waters also flow through the soul of American music, particularly the blues. Born in the Delta region, where the river's fertile soil nurtured cotton fields and hardship, the blues emerged as a raw, emotional expression of struggle and resilience. The river itself became a metaphor in songs, symbolizing both escape and entrapment. Artists like Muddy Waters and B. King sang of the Mississippi as a force that could carry you away or pull you under, its currents mirroring the highs and lows of life. The river's influence on the blues is a testament to its cultural power, shaping not just a musical genre but an entire way of seeing the world. Ecologically, the Mississippi is a marvel, its vast watershed supporting an astonishing diversity of life. From its headwaters at Lake Itasca to its delta in the Gulf of Mexico, the river nourishes wetlands, forests, and farmlands, creating a web of ecosystems that sustain millions of people and countless species. Yet, this ecological richness is fragile, threatened by pollution, climate change, and human intervention. The river's story, then, is also one of stewardship, a reminder that the waters we depend on must be protected if they are to continue to sustain us. Culturally, the Mississippi has become a symbol of American identity, its currents reflecting the nation's triumphs and struggles. It's a river of contradictions, a place where freedom and oppression, progress and tradition, nature and industry collide. Its waters have witnessed the birth of cities, the horrors of slavery, the rise of industry, and the resilience of communities. The Mississippi is not just a river, it's a mirror of the American experience, capturing the complexities of a nation always in flux. What makes the Mississippi truly extraordinary is how it embodies the idea of rivers as storytellers. Its waters carry the voices of countless generations: Native Americans, explorers, settlers, musicians, and writers, each adding their own chapter to its unfolding narrative. From the legends of Antehi to the melodies of the blues, the Mississippi reminds us that rivers are more than just physical features. They are living, breathing forces that shape the land, the people, and the stories we tell about ourselves. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred waters, we'll see how these rivers of stories connect us to the past, to each other, and to the mysteries that flow through the heart of human culture. Flowing through the rugged landscapes of South Asia, the Indus River is more than a geographical feature. It's a cradle of civilization, a source of life, and a thread that weaves together history, spirituality, and culture. For the people of ancient India, the Indus was not just a river, it was a divine gift, a force that shaped the land and the lives of those who depended on it. Known as Sindhu in Sanskrit, the river's name itself carries a sense of reverence, evoking its role as both a physical and spiritual lifeline. From the bustling cities of the Indus Valley civilization to the sacred texts of Hinduism, the river's influence runs deep, its currents carrying the echoes of a timeless connection between humanity and the divine. The Indus Valley civilization, one of the world's earliest urban societies, flourished along the river's fertile banks around 5,000 years ago. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were marvels of ancient engineering, with sophisticated drainage systems, public baths, and grid-like streets that reflected a deep understanding of water's importance. The river's annual floods deposited nutrient-rich silt, creating a fertile plain that supported agriculture and sustained a thriving population. But the Indus was more than just a source of food. It was a symbol of order and prosperity, its waters seen as a reflection of cosmic harmony. The people of the Indus Valley worshipped water not just for its life-giving properties, but for its role in maintaining balance between the natural and the divine. In Hindu mythology, the Indus holds a sacred place as one of the 7 holy rivers or Sapta Sindhu. Alongside the Ganges and the Yamuna, the Indus is revered as a purifying force, its waters believed to cleanse the soul and bring spiritual renewal. The river is personified as a goddess, often depicted as a nurturing mother who provides for her children. Stories from the Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts in the world, describe the Indus as a powerful and benevolent force, its currents carrying the blessings of the gods. In these ancient hymns, the river is celebrated not just for its physical abundance, but for its ability to connect the earthly and the divine, becoming a bridge between worlds. Even today, the Indus remains a symbol of cultural and spiritual unity, its waters flowing through the shared histories of India and Pakistan. Despite the political divides that now separate the region, the river continues to inspire a sense of connection, reminding us of the deep ties that bind people to the land and to each other. Festivals, rituals, and prayers along the Indus banks reflect its enduring importance, as communities honor the river's role in sustaining life and shaping identity. Rivers like the Indus often serve as metaphors for the flow of time and history, their currents carrying the stories of civilizations that rise and fall along their banks. Just as the Indus nurtured the ancient cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, it continues to shape the lives of millions today. Its waters a reminder of the enduring power of nature and the human spirit. This idea of rivers as symbols of continuity and change is a recurring theme in cultures around the world, reflecting a universal understanding of water as both a physical and spiritual force. As we reflect on the Indus and its legacy, we're reminded that rivers are more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing entities that connect us to the past, to each other, and to the mysteries of existence. From the ancient cities of the Indus Valley to the sacred hymns of Hinduism, the river's story is one of resilience, reverence, and renewal. And as we continue our journey through the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this timeless connection between humanity and rivers continues to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. The Seine River flows like a ribbon of history through the heart of Paris, its waters reflecting the grandeur, turmoil, and romance that have defined France for centuries. More than just a river, the Seine is a living chronicle of the nation's identity, its currents carrying the echoes of revolution, the whispers of poets, and the brushstrokes of artists. From the storming of the Bastille to the tranquil scenes captured by Monet, the Seine has been both a witness and a participant in the stories that have shaped France. But what makes this river so uniquely intertwined with the soul of a nation? Let's explore how the Seine became a symbol of revolution, romance, and the ever-changing tides of history. During the French Revolution, the Seine was more than a backdrop, it was a stage for some of the most dramatic moments in France's history. The riverbanks became gathering places for revolutionaries, its waters carrying the fervor and chaos of a nation in upheaval. One of the most chilling episodes took place at the Pont Neuf, where the heads of executed aristocrats were paraded before the crowds, the river silently bearing witness to the bloodshed. The Seine became a symbol of transformation, its waters mirroring the turbulent shifts in power and ideology. Yet, even in the darkest moments, the river retained its beauty, a reminder that life and hope persist even in times of chaos. This duality, the Seine as both a site of revolution and a source of inspiration, reflects the complex role rivers often play in human history. As the revolutionary fires cooled, the Seine emerged as a muse for artists and writers, its tranquil waters inspiring a new era of creativity. The river became the heart of French Romanticism, a movement that celebrated emotion, nature, and the sublime. Painters like Claude Monet immortalized the Seine in works like Impression, Sunrise, capturing the play of light on its surface and giving birth to the Impressionist movement. For writers like Victor Hugo, the river was a character in its own right, its currents flowing through the pages of Les Miserables as a symbol of both Paris's grit and its grace. The Seine's ability to inspire such profound artistry speaks to its enduring allure, a testament to how rivers can shape not just landscapes but also the human imagination. But the Seine's role in French culture goes beyond its artistic significance. It is the lifeblood of Paris, its waters shaping the city's layout, its identity, and its rhythm of life. The iconic bridges that span the river, from the ornate Pont Alexander Roman III to the historic Pont des Arts, are more than just structures. They are symbols of connection, linking the city's past and present. The riverbanks, now an UNESCO World Heritage Site, are a place where Parisians gather to stroll, picnic, and reflect, the Seine serving as a constant companion in their daily lives. This intimate relationship between the river and the city reflects a broader truth, that rivers are not just physical features but integral parts of the communities they nourish. The Seine's enduring allure lies in its ability to embody both beauty and change. Its waters have seen empires rise and fall, revolutions ignite and fade, and art movements blossom and evolve. Yet, through it all, the river remains a constant, its gentle currents a reminder of the cyclical nature of life. This duality, the Seine as both a symbol of transformation and a source of continuity, offers a powerful metaphor for the human experience. Rivers, like life, are ever-flowing, ever-changing, yet always connected to something deeper and eternal. As we reflect on the Seine's legacy, we're reminded that rivers are more than just bodies of water. They are mirrors of the human spirit, reflecting our struggles, our dreams, and our capacity for renewal. From the revolutionary fervor of the 18th century to the romantic visions of the 19th, the Seine has been a witness to the best and worst of humanity, its waters carrying the stories of a nation. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred rivers, we'll see how this connection between water and transformation echoes across cultures, shaping how we understand ourselves and the world around us. Deep in the heart of Central Africa, the Congo River winds its way through dense rainforests, its dark, swirling waters holding stories as ancient as the land itself. Known as the River of Secrets, the Congo is not just a geographical marvel, it's a living force, a river that breathes life into the myths, histories, and cultures of the region. For the people who live along its banks, the Congo is more than a body of water. It's a sacred entity teeming with spirits and mysteries that shape their worldview. In African mythology, the river is often seen as a bridge between the human and the divine, its currents carrying the whispers of ancestors and the power of creation. But what makes the Congo so deeply intertwined with the spiritual and cultural identity of the region? Let's dive into its secrets and uncover the stories that flow through its waters. In many African traditions, water is seen as a source of life and a conduit for spiritual energy, and the Congo River embodies this belief. Local myths often describe the river as the dwelling place of powerful spirits, beings that control its currents, floods, and even the fate of those who depend on it. One such figure is Mami Wata, a water spirit revered across Africa for her beauty, power, and unpredictability. Along the Congo, Mami Wata is said to appear as a mermaid-like figure, her presence felt in the river's swirling eddies and sudden storms. Offerings of food, flowers, and coins are made to her, seeking her favor and protection. These rituals reflect a worldview that sees the river not just as a physical resource, but as a living, spiritual force that demands respect and reverence. The Congo, in this sense, becomes more than a river. It's a guardian, a teacher, and a source of both abundance and mystery. The Congo's ecological importance is as vast as its waters. Stretching over 2,700 miles, it's the second longest river in Africa and one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. Its basin, a sprawling network of rivers and rainforests, is home to countless species of plants and animals, many of which are found nowhere else on the planet. For the communities that live along its banks, the river is a lifeline, providing food, water, and transportation. Yet, this abundance comes with challenges. Deforestation, pollution, and climate change threaten the delicate balance of the Congo Basin, putting both its ecosystems and the people who depend on them at risk. The river's story, then, is not just one of abundance but also of resilience, a reminder of the delicate interplay between humanity and nature. Culturally, the Congo River has been a source of inspiration and identity for centuries. Its waters flow through the heart of African music, art, and storytelling, shaping the region's cultural landscape. The river's rhythms echo in the beats of Congolese rumba, a musical genre that blends traditional African melodies with modern influences, creating a sound that's as vibrant and dynamic as the river itself. Artists and writers, too, have drawn inspiration from the Congo, its dark waters and lush surroundings becoming symbols of both beauty and struggle. The river's name even became a rallying cry during the colonial era, as the phrase "Congo Free State" masked the brutal exploitation of its people and resources. Today, the Congo remains a symbol of resilience, its waters carrying the hopes and dreams of a region striving for a better future. What makes the Congo unique is how it embodies the duality of rivers as both life-givers and keepers of secrets. Its waters sustain millions, yet they also hide mysteries, spirits, ancient stories, and ecological wonders that remain largely unexplored. This duality is a recurring theme in the world's sacred rivers, from the Ganges to the Nile, each one reflecting humanity's deep connection to water as both a physical necessity and a spiritual force. The Congo, with its myths, rituals, and ecological richness, invites us to see rivers as more than just bodies of water. They are living, breathing forces that connect us to the natural world, to the divine, and to each other. As we reflect on the Congo and its enduring legacy, we're reminded that rivers are not just geographical features, they are mirrors of the human experience. They flow through our myths, our histories, and our dreams, carrying the stories of countless generations. The Congo, with its secrets and spirits, challenges us to listen to the whispers of the water, to honor the sacred connection between humanity and nature. And as we continue to explore the world's sacred rivers, we'll see how this timeless wisdom continues to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. The Yellow River, known as the Mother River of China, winds its way through the heart of the nation like a golden thread, its waters carrying the weight of history, myth, and survival. To the Chinese people, this river is more than a geographical feature. It is a living force, both a giver of life and a harbinger of destruction. Its name, Huanghe, translates to Yellow River, a reference to the rich, loamy silt that colors its waters and nourishes the land. But this same silt, which makes the river so fertile, has also earned it another, more somber title, China's Sorrow. For centuries, the Yellow River has been both a source of pride and a cause of heartbreak, its waters shaping the destiny of a nation. At the center of the Yellow River's story lies its role as the cradle of Chinese civilization. Thousands of years ago, the river's fertile plains gave rise to some of the earliest agricultural societies in human history. The loess soil carried by the river's currents created a lush landscape that supported rice, wheat, and millet, laying the foundation for the growth of cities, trade, and culture. It was along these banks that the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties emerged, their stories woven into the fabric of Chinese identity. The river became a symbol of abundance and prosperity, its waters celebrated in poetry, art, and folklore as the lifeblood of the nation. Yet the Yellow River's gifts came with a price. Its unpredictable floods have caused some of the deadliest natural disasters in history, wiping out entire communities and reshaping the land. Over the centuries, the river has changed its course numerous times, its waters overflowing their banks and carving new paths through the countryside. These floods, while devastating, also carried a strange irony. They deposited the very silt that made the land so fertile, renewing the soil even as they destroyed what lay upon it. This duality, the river as both creator and destroyer, has shaped the Chinese people's relationship with the Yellow River, a relationship marked by both reverence and fear. In Chinese mythology, the Yellow River is often personified as a powerful and capricious deity. One of the most famous legends tells of Yu the Great, a heroic figure who tamed the river's floods through ingenuity and perseverance. According to the story, Yu spent years dredging channels and building dikes, working tirelessly to control the river's destructive power. His success not only saved countless lives but also established him as a model ruler, embodying the virtues of wisdom, dedication, and humility. The tale of Yu the Great reflects a broader cultural theme, the idea that humanity must work in harmony with nature, respecting its power while striving to harness its potential. The Yellow River's spiritual significance extends beyond mythology. In Taoist and Confucian traditions, water is seen as a symbol of adaptability and resilience, qualities that the Yellow River embodies perfectly. Its ability to flow around obstacles, to carve new paths through the landscape, serves as a metaphor for the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action. At the same time, the river's role in sustaining life aligns with Confucian ideals of harmony and balance, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all things. These philosophical connections add another layer to the river's cultural importance, transforming it from a physical entity into a symbol of Chinese thought and identity. Today, the Yellow River remains a vital part of China's landscape and culture. Its waters continue to sustain agriculture, industry, and millions of people, while its banks are dotted with temples, monuments, and museums that honor its legacy. Yet, the river also faces modern challenges, from pollution to overuse, as the demands of a growing population strain its resources. Efforts to protect and restore the Yellow River reflect a renewed commitment to its preservation, a recognition of its enduring importance to the nation's past, present, and future. What makes the Yellow River so extraordinary is how it embodies the idea of rivers as symbols of resilience. Its history is one of both triumph and tragedy, a testament to the strength and adaptability of the human spirit. The river's ability to nourish and destroy, to create and renew, mirrors the cycles of life itself, offering lessons in perseverance and hope. As we reflect on the Yellow River's story, we're reminded of how rivers can shape not just the land but the soul of a people, carrying the echoes of their struggles and dreams. And as we continue our journey through the world's sacred waters, we'll see how this idea of rivers as symbols of resilience echoes across cultures, connecting us to the timeless flow of history and the enduring power of nature. The Murray-Darling River stretches across southeastern Australia like a lifeline, its waters weaving through arid landscapes and fertile plains, nourishing the land and the people who depend on it. For the Aboriginal communities who have lived along its banks for tens of thousands of years, this river is far more than a body of water. It is a source of life, a spiritual force, and a living connection to the Dreamtime, the foundational period of creation in Aboriginal belief. Known as Milua to some indigenous groups, the Murray-Darling is not just a river, it's a sacred being, its waters carrying the stories, songs, and wisdom of the ancestors. In Aboriginal culture, the Dreamtime is more than a myth, it's a framework for understanding the world, a time when ancestral spirits shaped the land, the rivers, and all living things. The Murray-Darling plays a central role in these stories, often personified as a spiritual being or a pathway created by the ancestors. One such story tells of Ngurunderi, a great ancestral figure who chased a giant cod fish along the river's course. As the fish thrashed and swam, its body carved out the bends and channels of the Murray Darling, creating the river as we know it today. For the Ungarangari people, this story is not just a tale of creation. It's a reminder of the river's sacred origins and its role as a sustainer of life. Every twist and turn of the river is imbued with meaning, each bend a testament to the actions of the ancestors. Beyond its spiritual significance, the Murray Darling has always been a vital source of sustenance for Aboriginal communities. Its waters provide fish, waterfowl, and plants that have been harvested for food, medicine, and tools for generations. The river's annual floods, though less predictable today, once brought nutrient-rich silt to the surrounding plains, creating fertile grounds for cultivation. This deep connection to the land and water is reflected in the intricate knowledge systems of Aboriginal peoples, who have long understood the rhythms of the river and its ecosystems. They see themselves not as separate from the river but as part of it, their lives intertwined with its currents and cycles. Yet, the Murray Darling's importance extends beyond its cultural and spiritual roles. Ecologically, the river is a lifeline for one of Australia's most biodiverse regions. Its basin, which covers over 1 million square kilometers, supports a vast array of plants and animals, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth. From the iconic Murray cod to the ancient river red gums that line its banks, the river's ecosystems are a testament to the delicate balance of life. For the Aboriginal peoples, this balance is not just an ecological principle, it's a spiritual one, a reflection of the interconnectedness of all living things. Today, the Murray Darling faces significant challenges, from over-extraction of water for agriculture to the impacts of climate change. These threats not only endanger the river's ecosystems, but also the cultural heritage of the Aboriginal communities who depend on it. Efforts to restore the river's health, such as water sharing agreements and environmental flows, are not just about preserving a natural resource, they're about honoring a sacred connection that has endured for millennia. The Murray Darling, in this sense, becomes a symbol of resilience, a reminder of the delicate relationship between humanity and nature. What makes the Murray Darling so extraordinary is how it embodies the idea of rivers as more than just physical entities. It's a living, breathing force that connects the past to the present, the spiritual to the material, and the human to the natural world. Its waters carry the stories of creation, the wisdom of the ancestors, and the hopes of future generations. And as we explore the world's sacred rivers, we'll see how this timeless connection between water and life continues to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. From the Dreamtime stories of the Murray Darling to the ecological wonders it sustains, this river reminds us that water is not just a resource, it's a bridge between worlds, a mirror of our deepest beliefs, and a source of life itself. As we come to the end of our journey through the world's sacred rivers and mythical lakes, one thing becomes abundantly clear: water has always been more than just a physical resource. From the Ganges to the Nile, from Lake Titicaca to the Mississippi, these bodies of water have been revered as divine forces, symbols of life, death, and transformation. Across cultures and civilizations, rivers and lakes have served as bridges between the earthly and the spiritual, their currents carrying prayers, myths, and the collective memory of humanity. They are not just sources of life, they are mirrors of our deepest beliefs, our struggles, and our aspirations. Throughout this exploration, we've seen how ancient peoples understood water as something sacred, a force that connected them to the cosmos and to each other. The stories of these rivers and lakes reveal a universal truth: that water is both a giver and a taker, a creator and a destroyer. It sustains life, yet it can also bring devastation. It purifies, yet it demands respect. This duality is at the heart of humanity's relationship with water, a relationship that has shaped our history, our spirituality, and our understanding of the world. Today, as we face the challenges of climate change, pollution, and overuse, the ancient wisdom embedded in these stories takes on new relevance. The reverence for water that once guided our ancestors reminds us of the importance of balance, stewardship, and respect for the natural world. These sacred rivers and mythical lakes are not just relics of the past, they are living, breathing forces that continue to shape our lives. They challenge us to rethink our relationship with water, to see it not as something to be exploited, but as something to be cherished and protected. As we reflect on the enduring significance of these water bodies, let us remember the words of the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Water, like life, is ever flowing, ever changing, yet always connected to something greater than ourselves. It is a reminder of our shared humanity, our shared history, and our shared future. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this journey through sacred rivers and mythical lakes. What resonated with you the most? Do you have a favorite river or lake that holds special meaning in your culture or life? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to explore more about this fascinating topic. Together, let's keep the conversation flowing and honor the timeless power of water that connects us all.